all the surrounding areas. And I am so happy to be back. I am happy to be back on the campaign trail. I want to say good night to all the lovely people here, gathered here, Dolores and her crew, and all the folks who came to be a part of our meeting tonight. And of course, we want to say good night to all the folks who are listening via radio and are listening via the internet. And let me say good night to all the lovely people across the whole of Nevis and St. Kitts and throughout the region and wherever you are. I want to say a special good night to my good friend Verna up there in Hamilton. I was supposed to say good night to you when we came to Hamilton, but I was under the weather. And I want to say good night and thank you to all of the lovely people, the caring people who have called and have prayed. Because of course you would have heard that I was under the weather. But thank God I did not stay under the weather. I am back. I am back because I have work to do. We have campaigning to do because we have a victory ahead of us. We have an election to win. And ladies and gentlemen of Gingerland, your humble servant is here with you tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for rallying with me over the years, for rallying with me in 2017, in 2020, in 2022. And I am back. I am back, your humble servant, to ask you for your support again on the 12th day of December, 2022. And I have all confidence that you will do what you always do. And you will do it in even greater numbers on the 12th of December, 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, I have come this evening. I have a lot to say, but I got to take it a little easy because as I said, I'm just coming from under the weather. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen of Gingerland, all of you who are hearing my voice, and those of you who are listening via radio and the internet, I have come with my report card. My report card that I bring to you, that I've been working on for the past 5 years. And I'm very confident. I am very confident that the people of the constituency of Nevis 3, St. George, Gingerland, will give me a very high mark when I bring my report card to you. I have been working diligently for not only the people of Gingerland, but the whole of Nevis. You would have heard how I have revolutionized the Department of Social Services. So many things I've done in sports and youth and culture and so many more. But tonight, I want to focus on what has been done in the constituency of St. George, Gingerland. Because if I have to speak on all that I've done in all of my ministries, I'm not going to finish until tomorrow morning. And so I'm going to focus a little, just a little, on what I have done and what I have accomplished in St. George, Gingerland. And let me say from the onset that the reason the people of Gingerland repose their trust and their confidence in your humble servant is because long before politics, long before 2017, I have been working for the people of St. George, Gingerland. I have been with the people of St. George, Gingerland long before 2017. And that is why the people of this good constituency, the people of Nevis 3, that is why they called me to be their representative. Because I've been working and working and working. That's all I have known all of my life. All of my life has been dedicated to the service of Gingerland, to the people of Gingerland, to the people of this beloved island of Nevis. And so when they called, I said yes. They had to do a lot of calling, of course. But I eventually said yes. And now that I've said yes, I have been working on your behalf. And ladies and gentlemen, let's go to my report card. In the area of education, take a look at the Gingerland Secondary School, my alma mater. Within a short 5 years, under the representation of your representative, we have brought a new wing that houses the principal's office. We brought new bathrooms. We have refurbished the labs, the science lab, the computer lab, the library. We have built numerous walkways. We have done so much to the physical plant of the Gingerland Secondary School. But what I'm mostly proud of, what I'm so proud of, is that new technical and vocational wing that we have brought to the Gingerland Secondary School. And we will revolutionize technical and vocational training starting right there at the new Tibet wing. For those of you who haven't come to Gingerland recently, next time you come to Gingerland, drive slowly and take a look at the great new look that this administration has brought to the Gingerland Secondary School. And I want to big up the Honorable Troy Liebud. Thank you very much. You've done a marvelous job right there at the Gingerland Secondary School. And even persons who support the other party, they are saying how great it looks right there in the heart of Gingerland. And ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot more that has been done there at the school that I have done personally, which I'm not going to get into tonight. Of course, I've made so many contributions. Financial, supplies, donations during graduation to the Gingerland Secondary School. And of course, when we pass there now, it looks so spanking and brand new that it almost looks like a college campus. It almost looks like a college campus. And the people of St. George Gingerland ought to be proud of what we have done there at the Gingerland Secondary School for education. When we go across to the Joycelyn Liebud Primary School, work has been done there as well. Of course, we have a wonderful state-of-the-art kitchen there under your administration. When we go over to the Gingerland Preschool, and I could stand corrected, but I believe the Gingerland Preschool is the largest preschool that we have on the island of Nevis. Minister Liebud, you may want to correct me. But we have done a lot of work there as well, extensive work there, expansion work at the Gingerland Preschool. And so in education, work has been done, and a lot of work has been done in St. George, Gingerland, and we are not going to stop there. We will continue. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card in the area of culture. The state-of-the-art David Freeman Center of Excellence. Over $1 million spent right there in the heart of Gingerland. We decided, listen, we have to decentralize things when they're happening in culture and other areas. And of course, we know that over the years, everything culture has been happening at the cultural village and the cultural complex. But your administration with the vision and your representative who stood up in cabinet and said, we must have a cultural center in Gingerland. And I want to thank my cabinet colleagues for rallying with me for us to invest in that state-of-the-art center in the heart of Gingerland. And because we have invested in that center, for the first time in the 47-year history of Culturama. The entire festival was hosted at that center in 2021. The entire festival. And I know Minister Brad always vexed with me when I say that. Because nothing keep a tongue last year. Everything was in country. Everything was in Gingerland. Thanks to Europe and thanks to the concerned citizens, movement, government. And apart from just having cultural activities there, we have that center there that we can host anything. The Gingerland Secondary School have hosted at least 2 graduation ceremonies there. Only yesterday I was the MC for the Gingerland Preschool Christmas concert there. People are having all kind of activities, church activities. It's a welcomed addition to Gingerland. In the area of culture, your representative has brought a vibrant steel pan program to Gingerland based at the Hanley's Road Community Center. Started by the late Honorable Vance Amory. And I took the mantle, I took the baton, I continued, and we have a fantastic program to teach our people, not only in Gingerland, but throughout the length and breadth of the island, the art of steel pan playing. And it has been going so exceptionally well. Since we've started that program, we have a children's group, we have a teens group, we have an adult group, and trust me, people have welcomed the initiative to be able to learn steel pan. And I am proud, very proud, because those steel pan groups that have emanated out of Hadley's Road in the heart of Gingerland have been going through the length and breadth of Nevis and playing at various functions. And they have been playing well. And so culture is in good hands. There at the David Freeman Center, we are also ensuring that the cultural art forms, we know Gingerland is famous for the cultural art forms. We are ensuring that we teach them there at that center so that they can live on forever. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card here in Gingerland in the area of sports and sporting facilities. When I became the Minister of Sports, I made a pledge, I made a commitment, I made a promise that we will enhance all of the sporting facilities on the island of Nevis. And that is happening despite the fact that we have lost 2 years from COVID. That continues. And it will continue because when the election is called on the 12th of December, your humble servant and the CCM will be back in government. We will be back. And so the great work that would have started will continue. In our sporting facilities, we've seen recently the resurfacing of the hard court there at Cronies. We've seen extensive enhancement work right down there at Ball Pass, St. George's Recreation Grounds. We've seen extensive enhancement work at the Hard Times playing field. We've seen enhancement work at the Hanley's Road Community Grounds. And I'm so proud to say that we have now been able to light the Zion playing field. The lights have already been installed at Hard Times. It's just that they haven't been switched on yet because we are working in collaboration with NEVLEC. And so sometimes the delays that we have are not entirely our fault. But I was so proud a couple of weeks ago when I went over to Zion and the lights over at the Zion playing field were switched on. I remember my good friend Sidney Newton saying a prayer to bless the lights. And Sterling and all the other guys were over there playing cricket under the lights at Zion. Thanks to your representative, thanks to the CCM administration. And that will continue, ladies and gentlemen. I said as well when I became the Minister of Sports that I will ensure that all sporting facilities across the island get bathroom facilities. We have done a bathroom facility at Zion, and more will be coming in the next dispensation. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card in the area of agriculture, and you would have heard it from the Honorable Alexis Jeffers when he spoke earlier. Gingerland used to be the fruit basket of Nevis, and under your representative and under your CCM administration, Gingerland is reclaiming that name. I am proud because all of my work life in administration and in the NIA was in agriculture. And so I'm extremely happy when we have so much things happening in agriculture and here in the parish of Gingerland. You go down there to Indian Castle, over 30 acres, fruit orchard. Those of you who haven't visited yet, you need to visit. You need to visit. All right. And all who have gone down to Indian Castle, everybody is impressed. Everybody is impressed. When we speak about agriculture, we talk about Mackie Truss. Go up there to Hard Time and see how he has revolutionized greenhouse production here on the island of Nevis, right here in the heart of Gingerland. I am proud of that. I am proud of that. And I want to thank Alexis, who have ensured that the farmers of Nevis were not left out when they brought greenhouses into the federal government, into the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And when you go up to Mackie's farm and you see the quality of the products there, when you see the quality of the lettuce, the tomato, the peppers, the herbs, the spinach, everything, it's second to none. Quality out of Gingerland. We are leading once again when it comes to agriculture. And it's happening under your humble servant that you gave the opportunity to represent you in the Nevis Island administration. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card continues. In community development, we've had improvements at the corn mill. We've had improvements right behind here at the Pond Hill Community Center. We've had improvements down at the Hanley's Road Community Center. I know when I got in as the minister, these community centers are used extensively, and people normally complain when they go to Pond Hill, when they go to Hanley's Road, the buildings are too hot. Your humble servant ensured that we now have air conditioning at Pond Hill and at Hanley's Road. So when persons come there to use those centers, they are comfortable. No more people are complaining that they are too hot. No more of that. Because your representative is ensuring that things and good things are happening in St. George, Gingerland, and on the island of Nevis. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card in the area of water. The Minister of Water is here, and I'm happy he's here because under your caring administration, under your representative, we have a water reservoir up there at Stony Hill, recently installed. And I'm proud to say that right here at Pond Hill, we are in the process of installing another one. And so Gingerland people won't have any water woes. I also want to say in the area of water that for the first time, persons over in Harris got running water for the first time under your representative, under your CCM administration. Things are happening on the island of Nevis. Things are happening in St. George, Gingerland, ladies and gentlemen, in the area of housing. Of course, we know that we have a lovely housing development over there at New River. And I'm so pleased every time I go over there, it keeps expanding because people are building. People want their own homes. Down at Rice's, your representative was instrumental in ensuring that we purchase land. I put Alexis to do all of the work because he's the one who can negotiate well. And so when I put him in contact with the person who was the owner of the land, he was able to negotiate a good price. And so we were able to purchase land at Rice's to ensure that people of the constituency of St. George, Gingerland, can also enjoy their own home. They can also enjoy their own home. And that is only the start, ladies and gentlemen. Your administration and your representative is working diligently on your behalf. And so, the housing project, the housing development at Rice's will only be the first start. And of course, we know that we've had other housing developments here on the island in St. George. But in the next dispensation, we will be looking for more lands, for more houses, because we know they are in demand. And the people of Nevis are a proud people, and people want to own their own homes. And your administration is ensuring that we give people that opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card in the area of infrastructure. We have a new building over there at Hard Times, the Interpretation Center. Of course, we know we have Nevis Peak. A lot of persons like to go, especially when tourists come. And they like to take their tours. And so your administration, we would have built this interpretation center that lies right there in the heart of Hard Times, right there in the heart of Gingerland. And persons who are traveling up to the mountain and up to the source can go there and get some very pertinent information. Your administration, your representative, we are hard at work to ensure things are happening, and not only things, but good things. In infrastructure, we've had roads being done here in Gingerland, right down there at Cleggot, close to me, up at Rollins, down at Hanley's Road, over in the Zion Project. And more are there to come, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to tell you that things and good things have been happening in the parish of St. George, Gingerland. And when they don't have anything to say, they say, Eric, ain't do not na Gingerland and not na hapma Gingerland. Well, all of what I've just outlined, you call all of that nothing? You call all of that nothing? Well, something got to be wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, your humble servant is ready and willing and able and competent to run for the next 5 years and to be your representative for the next 5 years. And that is why I invest all confidence in you. And I know come December the 12th, where your ex will be. By Eric Evelyn, by the hammer. And of course, what I have outlined a while ago is just an indication, a small indication of what has been accomplished in 5 short years. 5 short years that has been impacted heavily by the COVID-19 pandemic. And persons who believe they're smart, and I call them ridiculously smart and ridiculously bright, say that we always blaming COVID. But COVID is a pandemic that ravaged the entire world, the entire universe. And we are part of that global village. And so we were very much affected here on the island of Nevis. But thank God we bounced back. And we bounced back well because of the excellent work, the excellent management under the Premier and your cabinet of the Nevis Island administration. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in the next dispensation, which we know the people of Nevis will give to the concerned citizens movement, I have big plans for St. George and for the island of Nevis as well. All of us as representatives of our constituencies, we have big plans. And so, when you elect me on the 12th of December, 2022, and when I get back in government, when I sit in the Nevis Island Administration Cabinet for another 5 years, I will work hard for you. One of the first things on the agenda is the refurbishment of the Gingerland public market. And of course, that is close to my heart, because not everyone knows that agriculture is my heart. And so when I was growing up, the public market right there in Gingerland was a hive and a hub of activity. And we want to bring that back. You remember I just spoke about agriculture? I just said a while ago that Gingerland is regaining its name as the breadbasket of Nevis. And we just don't want to regain the name as the breadbasket of Nevis. We want our farmers and our vendors and all of our agriculture stakeholders to be able to ply their trade right here in Gingerland. Right here in the heart of Gingerland. And it will happen. It will happen under the next CCM administration. And so farmers, and those of you who are involved in agriculture, those of you who are involved in vending, the public market in Gingerland is coming back. And you can say, Eric Evelyn said that tonight. The public market in Gingerland is coming back. Ladies and gentlemen, as I talk about agriculture, Alexis spoke about the broiler industry. And I have news for you too. Because the broiler industry can be set up right here in Gingerland too. Right here in Gingerland. That broiler industry going to be set up right here in Gingerland. And of course, food security is very important to all of us. If we don't eat, we can't survive. And so that is why agriculture is so important. And it's so dear to my heart. And should be so dear to the hearts of many of us as divisions. And so the broiler industry is going to come. And it's going to come right here to Gingerland as well. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next dispensation, the David Freeman Center of Excellence that I spoke about a while ago, we have another phase to go. We have to put in the seating. We have to put in some shops and so on. We have to ensure that we're able to do classes there. And so we have a lot more work there to do, you know. Never mind it's looking so nice and spanking. And never mind everybody loves it. No. We have more work to do at the David Freeman Center of Excellence. And so phase 2 is coming. Phase 2 is coming, ladies and gentlemen, of Gingerland and of Nevis. Lots of work coming in the next term. Because as I always tell the people of Gingerland, we can't do everything in the first term, you know. We have to spread the work over. Because as I've said, and I said this in 2017 when I ran for the first time, that your CCM party not going anywhere out of government anytime soon. Not in the next 20, 25, 30 years. You are stuck with us. You are stuck with us. And you know why you're stuck with us? Because we love you and you love us. You see what we are capable of doing. We are the only party that is looking out for you. That is why our mantra is people matter most. And that is why we will always look out for the people of Nevis. And so phase 2 of the David Freeman Center is coming. We go across the road. Ladies and gentlemen, I see a couple of police officers here. And I want to see a facelift to that Gingerland police station. We always want to make sure that our law officers are comfortable. And I want to make sure that the law officers who are stationed here in the good parish of St. George in Jaland are comfortable as well. And so I will represent and make sure that the police station in Gingerland gets a facelift, a much needed facelift. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next dispensation, I know the people of Rollins have longed and longed and longed for their community center. That community center was promised ever since the Honorable Vance Amory was alive. And your representative will ensure that the people of Rollins, that your long wait will be over because your community center will come. Ladies and gentlemen, in the area of sports, we will continue to improve and enhance our sporting facilities. We have done some work, yes, but we have more to do. We have done some work there at Cronies. I remember earlier, about 2 years ago, I took the Minister Brand up there and I said, we have to build some little stands here so that when persons come to play basketball, to play netball, to play tennis, that people can sit in the stand and watch them. We are putting up new lights right there at the hard court. Because, of course, we know that we have a retrofitting project going on where we're retrofitting all these sporting facilities. And all of them are getting new lights. All of them are getting new lights under your hearing administration. And so that hard court there in St. George in Jaland will get its bathroom. And it will get its stand as well. Because we want to ensure that we improve. I know over at Hard Times, and I see Wise and Keith and the other guys are here tonight, and Justin and the other fellas, because they have been agitating for years, even before I became a minister, even before I became the representative. They have been agitating, and that is why I am proud that very soon they will be switching on their lights up there. Very soon the lights will be going on. We're just waiting for the 3-phase electricity to go up there, and they will be getting their lights. And they will not only get their lights, but we're going to ensure that they get proper facilities up there as well, their proper stands. Because we know when we have the Village Premier League being played at Hard Times, it's like carnival up there. It's a hive and hub of activity. People absolutely love going to the Hard Times ground. And because it is so heavily utilized, we must ensure that we improve and enhance that wonderful ground there at Hard Times. We will continue to work on the grounds at Zion as well. And we will light Ball Pasture, the St. George's Recreation Grounds. We will light the Hanley's Road Community Grounds. Because we want, when our sportsmen and women go on these sporting facilities, that they are comfortable. I'm sure you would have heard a lot about the refurbishment of the Grell Hall Stevens Netball Complex in Charlestown. And those of you who haven't gone yet, you really need to go there and have a look and see what your administration has done. But I want to make a plug. When we do all of these work, when we make all this investment, when we spend all this money, we want our people to utilize the facilities. And not only utilize the facilities, but to take extra good care of the facilities. Ladies and gentlemen, your representative will ensure that in the next dispensation, we will continue the infrastructural work here in St. George, Gingerland. We have roads to do as well. I will rally for the people of Rollins. They have been asking, and they deserve a new road too. And your representative will ensure that you get your new road too. We have Meats Pasture. The folks at Meats Pasture has been asking, We have Taylor's pasture and Maynard's ground. We have Crook's ground. We have Rice's. We have roads to do as well. And so in the next dispensation, we have River Path. In the next dispensation, roads will continue to be constructed throughout the length and breadth of St. George, Gingerland. Ladies and gentlemen, your representative will not be sitting idle because we will ensure, I will ensure as well, that we get more lands for more housing development in the parish, the good parish of St. George, Gingerland. And so your representative will be working very, very hard when you send me back to government. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, in this campaign, we of the Concerned Citizens Movement, we have been running a very positive campaign. Very positive. You hardly hear any negativity at our campaign. And I have decided that I'm not going to spend much time on the other party because they don't deserve our time anyway. Because that is a party that is out there like a boat without a rudder. They're sinking. They are underwater. And they're going to go way underwater come the 12th of December. But you know, as I said, I don't intend to spend much time on them. But in this campaign, ladies and gentlemen, in this campaign, we must highlight this scandalous lie that that party has been perpetrating all over Nevis and saying nothing happening on the island of Nevis. Now, could you imagine? Did you hear the Premier's address last night? Did you hear the report card of the Concerned Citizens Movement? Did you hear Minister Brand up at Hamilton the other night? Did you hear Alexis over at the town hall meeting? Have you heard all of what I have said tonight? And imagine the insult. And the people of Nevis ought to be insulted. We are intelligent people. And we ought to be insulted when persons who said they are highly educated can say on a daily basis that nothing is happening on the island of Nevis. And so we must continue to expose this lie. And you know what bothers me most? You know what bothers me most? That a lot of the people who are telling this nasty lie, this scandalous lie, there are people who go to church every Sunday, who ain't preaching, singing in the choir. And every day they go through Nevis and say, nothing happened. With all of what have been outlined. And the good thing about it, when we come, we always come with our facts. We come with facts. And so on this platform of the Concerned Citizens Movement, we don't lie. We bring the facts to you. And you know, it is strange. Very, very strange. That persons who reside here on the island of Nevis could continue to perpetuate this lie and say nothing is happening. When persons who visit the island of Nevis are always marveling at the absolute transformation that we have brought to the island of Nevis. I was at a funeral this past Saturday, at the Anglican Church, right there in Gingerland. And when I was finished in the cemetery, I came out and I was talking to a few persons who were there in front of the church. And I had to laugh and I had to marvel because I witnessed something there. And every time I think about it, I just have to smile. I saw a supporter of the other side standing there in the conversation. And I never see somebody get a dose of hush so quick yet. And why that person got the dose of hush? When I came out and I started to talk to the folks, the sister of the deceased who resides in the US, she was sitting there with a couple of her relatives from overseas. And I spoke to them. I introduced myself. And one of the ladies, I think she's from England, she said, "Are you into politics?" I said, "Yes, I'm the representative for this area." And the sister for the deceased, who is from Henley Park, from all down to the bottom of Henley Park, you know what she said to me? He said, "Sir, who is responsible for this lovely road that we have in Hanley's Road?" She said, "I never knew I could get to Hanley's Road so fast." She said, "I never knew." And I said to her, "My party is responsible for that road." He said, "Well, thank God for your party. I want you to tell the people in your party, thank you." And she didn't stop there. I asked her, when was the last time you were in Nevis? She said, 11 years ago. And you know what she said? "I have seen so much progress on the island of Nevis since I was last here." And you can tell me that people who come and visit can see it so easily, and people who live here can't see it? Something wrong. Something dead wrong. So the lady said, "Mister, I am so happy. Please congratulate your colleagues. You all are doing a marvelous job." And Lord have mercy, the supporter of the other side stood up there and she turned her face up to the mountain. And she couldn't say another word. She couldn't say another word because she know the lady was telling the truth. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who visited from England. And I could call his name Bundy. Because Bundy is my friend. And Bundy said to me, "Boy, Eric, when me come back to Nevis, when me go on Henley Park, me last, me don't know when me there." And you know what? That transformation of Hanley's Road took place under your CCM-led Nevis Island administration. I have a good friend visiting here from England. I spoke to her yesterday. She comes very often. She was here about 3-4 years ago. She didn't come because of COVID. And when I spoke to her, one of the first things she told me, "I see so many good changes on the island of Nevis. Everybody who comes to this island, they are proud of the work that your administration is doing. Why can't we on the island of Nevis band together and said, we are doing a marvelous job?" But it's bad mind on the other side. Bad mind. I spoke to a friend of mine. He called me from the Virgin Islands today. From the Virgin Islands, and he comes here very often. Very often. And he said to me, "Every time I come, I see more developments." And you know, he said something to me today. And when he said it to me, I couldn't laugh harder. Because you know what he said to me? He said, "Listen, I am in tune with everything that is happening on the island of Nevis. I'm listening to all the meetings. I'm sure he's listening tonight as well." And he said, boy, based on what's going on in Nevis, based on what's happening in Nevis, CCM are going to win 6 seats this time." He says CCM are going to win 6. Because his thing is that you all have done so much that you all deserve 6 seats. And he said to me, "Are you going to win 6 seats?" And so I want to tell the premier we're going to look for another chair in cabinet. Because we have done so much that I am confident that we're going to win all 5. But my friend in the US Virgin Islands say, you all going to win 6 seats. You deserve 6 seats based on the work that you have done. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be wrapping up shortly. But before I do, I want to remind the good people of the island of Nevis that an election is looming. D-Day is coming. The 12th of December is coming. And we want to make it a historic day for the island of Nevis. And for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis too. Because we want that when the votes are tallied, it will be all 5. Troy said something earlier tonight, and I believe he was looking into my head because I intended to say it when I come up here. This is football season. This is a World Cup. And this is a World Cup. This is a World Cup class team here in the CCM. And so it's going to be 5-0 come election day. And I want to tell you something else too. Your humble representative for St. George and Jalan, I going to kick in the first goal on the 12th of December. I am going to kick the first goal in. I'm going to try to get a good pair of football boots. I don't know whether it's going to be Spencer or Lataya who going to kick in the second one. But I believe Spencer going to kick in the second one. Lataya going to kick in the third. Alexis going to kick in the fourth. And Dr. Brantley will kick in goal number 5. And so it will be 5-0 in favor of the CCM. Your CCM party. Ladies and gentlemen, rally with your CCM team. Rally in number 1 with Spencer Brand. In number 2 with Mark Brantley. In number 3 with yours truly. In number 4 with Alexis Jeffers. And in 5 with Latoya Bianca Jones. It will be history in the making. It will be all 5 for us. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my quota for tonight. Thank you, St. George and Jalan. I am counting on you once again to send me back to government and to send the CCM back to government. Thank you. Good night. God bless you and have a wonderful weekend.